Welcome back to Let's Automate with Robin, AI and automation for non-techies. And what we're going to do today, what you're seeing on the screen here on my N8N canvas, is a tool that utilizes WhatsApp as a trigger and WhatsApp as a place to serve the results of an automation. And the automation we're going to look at today is scraping Google Maps for results. The use case here might be you're a sales rep, you're traveling down the road, you spot a business, you're not sure if you should call on them, if they're a good suit for what you are selling. You could pump their details into a WhatsApp bot, have the AI and automation do research on that company, give the results back to you instantly on WhatsApp. And you can make a call where you can call on the company. The goal here is not so much about what is between the WhatsApp modules here, between the nodes. It's to indicate that you can use WhatsApp as a trigger, put any workflow in between the input WhatsApp node and the output WhatsApp node and use it as a chatbot. But we're going to focus on Google scraping today. Let's have a look. Let's have an example here. So I'm going to open up my WhatsApp here. I'm pinging my bot and I'm going to hit up my favorite barbershop here in Cape Town. So I'm going to search Cape Town, South Africa, because this is where my barber is. His name is Barber Chop. So I'm doing some research here on Barber Chop, Cape Town, South Africa. That's acted as a trigger. The workflow is busy running. It's telling us that it's doing a job. Got it. Give me a minute or two to do my research. And the workflow is busy running in the background. It's doing research for us. Let's see what comes back. And there we have it, a summary of the Barber Chop. By the way, love these guys. Rizzo and his team down there do a fantastic job. So check them out if you're in Cape Town, real treat. So the Barber Chop is a premium grooming establishment focused on providing exceptional haircuts and grooming services for men. Their target audience, men of all ages. This is what they do. That's their USP. Let's have a look here. What else have we picked up here? We've got that they've got an Instagram account, Facebook account. Looks like they don't have any other social media tools. But the point I'm showing here is a quick search using this format has given us a result, and we're using WhatsApp to do it. Let's break down how we can actually go about doing that build. So I'm back here. Let's step through. As you say, we're on N8N here. If you're not familiar with N8N, please go check out our channel. And in fact, let me show you the channel. There it is. Let's Automate it with Robin. We've got a lot of videos in there, starting from some real kind of basics, getting started with N8N, right through to some more advanced stuff. So jump in there, check it out, work through our videos. Some really good information in there if you're interested in AI and automation. But I'm going to jump into executions here. And I'm going to look for the most recent execution that ran. And I'm looking for one with a bit of a duration. I think it's going to be that one. And here's a little trick I like to do. So, this is the workflow we just ran. So I'm just going to copy that data. And we're going to use this data now. What did I do? I just went JSON, hovered over, and then this little button popped up. And it's now copied the actual input JSON that was used to trigger the WhatsApp, to trigger the workflow. So I want to go back into editor here. Open up this node, hit the pencil icon, highlight this to delete out what was in there, and popping in the new information. So this is exactly the same. We're basically duplicating what we've just run on that point. So I'm going to run this through in a high level quickly, and then we can come back and have a look at it. So this is the WhatsApp node that's capturing the information that we're sending via WhatsApp into our N8N, into our workflow. We're checking if the status of the message is a status we want to react to. I'll get into that in some more detail. We're sending a quick reply to say, got it, I'm working on it. Then we're processing the data. We're sending it over to Appify, a tool where there are APIs and scrapers for all kinds of things like LinkedIn and Instagram, and of course Google Maps, which we're using today. So we're scraping those Google Maps. We're getting the results. We're checking if there's a website included in those results. If there is, we're scraping the website as well using Appify once again. We're using an AI tool here to summarize that website, and then we're sending the results back to WhatsApp like you've just seen. I'm going to break down this build step by step. So if that's something you're interested, stay with us till the end to see how to build this for yourself. Let me hit the save button quickly. If this is not for you, jump into our community. We have a community here at members.letsautomated.biz. And in here is a full community. But what we have as well is all the workflows. If we look at our N8N Automations basic course, we have a workflow, a module, a course, sorry, in here that's got, all our videos are done. How to create this, how to build a WhatsApp chatbot, for example. And in here is the video that is listed on YouTube, plus all the resources where you can actually just download the JSON and just paste it straight into your N8N, and you'll have this workflow right away. You won't have to build it. So if you want it done for you in that manner, jump into our community. Of course, we've got all kinds of discussions, members, and backwards and forwards where we're learning from each other, and we're really kind of working through this AI and automation space as a community and uplifting each other, sharing customers, resources, training, learning, education. Strongly recommend you get into this community. We've got a special running. It's $10 a month. That's all if you are within the first 100. We're up to 63 members, so space is running out. But if you sign up now, $10 a month, that's absolutely nothing. And you'll have that for life. After 100, though, the price will go up a little bit. So jump in it right there and come and say how's it, and let's chat. Anyway, enough about that. Let's get back to breaking this down in more detail and building out this automation. Let's get started. Okay, so the WhatsApp trigger, I'm going to click into this node, and you can see I've got a credential here. And client ID and client secret. Now, this is set up. I'm not going to go into how to get your WhatsApp credentials. What I recommend you do is head back over to our channel, and here, this video here, WhatsApp AI chatbot. Watch that video. It goes through in detail on exactly how you can get your WhatsApp credentials, how you can get a telephone number, how you can get a test telephone number and configure it. So I won't go through it again, but watch that video to know how to set this up. In the trigger, we're going to have this trigger on messages. So it's going to trigger on any incoming message. And if we went and typed into WhatsApp now, this is exactly what would come in. But I've pasted in the exact JSON that will be delivered from WhatsApp by pulling this from an execution, as you just saw. So there's the details. There's my search term. Now, in this particular one, it's very important that we follow this format of the search term. Name of the business, comma, space, the city that the business is in, comma, space, and then the country. That's very important because we're passing that structure through to a scraper, and it needs to have the correct format so it knows what to search for. We're also looking at the field messages here, because what's going to happen with WhatsApp, when you send a message in, WhatsApp actually sends via API the message, but a host of status updates as well. And we don't want to be responding to their status updates every time. We just want to respond to the one JSON packet that contains this field messages, which is why we have this if node afterwards. And we're only responding to if this message section here. By the way, this is the incoming. If I click onto this is the JSON we've just seen in the previous node. So this is the incoming side of this node, and over here will be the outgoing side. So we only want to respond if this message section actually exists. If not, just ignore it. As you can see, we've got a true branch. There's the information coming out. I've literally just dragged in this JSON messages here. Just dragged it on and set the criteria here under array that it must exist. Simple as that. That's all we've done. Array exists. So that's has passed it. Then I'm doing two things after that. So in testing this and building this, I realized that this takes 30, 40 seconds, sometimes a minute or two to run depending on a couple of factors. And we want to give it a little bit of feedback. If I go back over to my WhatsApp, you'll notice that as I sent the search phrase in, it came back saying, got it, give me a minute or two to do my research. It's a little bit of feedback to let us know that it's on it, it's doing its job. So that's what this node is doing. This is a WhatsApp Business Cloud. So we'd go over here and we go to WhatsApp, grabbing a WhatsApp Business Cloud, and we are sending a message. So that's what I've grabbed right here. Okay, and then again, I've got some credentials. I've said before, I'll say it again, in order to know how to get these credentials to set this up, please head back over to our channel and go and watch this build an AI WhatsApp chatbot using N8N. It's going to show you how to get those credentials. So I've got those credentials, and I'm going to send a reply back going, I can put anything I want in here, but I've written, got it, give me a minute or two to do my research. That's the reply. You could put anything you wanted in here, and sends it on. You could do an audio, image, whatever you want to. There's a couple of intricacies to sending audio. So stick with a text message for the moment. We'll probably do a video in future about how to handle audio and WhatsApp. But that's simple. That just is going to send a reply back. So we know that the system is in hand and everything is working. All right, now we actually need to get into the workflow. So we need to set our search fields. This is a set node. If I type in here, we have this edit field set node. That's what that is. So that's come in. Now we've got this JSON that's come into this, and now we want to grab our search criteria. So I'm actually going to go click over to schema. It makes it easier. And there it is. That's what we want to pull in here. That's the body. If I repeat it, you can see here we're getting the, actually, what we really want to be doing is grabbing the if node. This will work. What I've done here will absolutely work. But I like to get into the habit of those actually labeling the node. So this node over here is called the if node. So I've actually got in here brackets, if nodes, item.json.messages. This format here that you're seeing here, where it just got JSON, is just pulling it from the immediate previous node. So if I've dropped another node in between this if node and this node, it would break if I was using this format here. So I've actually just labeled, written out the full name of the node, so it's always referencing the same node. But there's the result. It's a string. There's the result. Pulled in, nice and straightforward. If you've watched some of the videos already on our channel, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So let's test this step. And there's our result. We've now set, what is our search criteria? Barber Shop, Cape Town, South Africa. Simple as that. Okay, now the next step was a little bit challenging for me, and I want to show you how I overcame this challenge. Ultimately, I want to turn this search result, I want to put it into JSON, some kind of JSON format, because I'm going to have to push it into Apify later, and Apify wants information in a JSON format. So I wasn't quite sure how to do that. So let me show you what I did. I went over to ChatGPT, and here it is, Barber Shop, Cape Town, South Africa. Break this up. This is the message I gave. Break this up into name, city, and return as a separate JSON item. I didn't even have my spelling correct, and it gave me a JSON layout. Now, I'm not a coder. I understand what JSON is to an extent, but often I'll leave commas out and things like that. So now I know the result that I want. That's the result I want. I want to turn this layout here. This is JSON, but everything's on one row. You can see everything's on one row. I want to convert that into this layout where I've got it as separate items, business name, city, country. So that's the result. That's what I want to get to. I wasn't sure how to do it. So I thought, let me try and do it with the set node. So I said, please, can you give me a single line expression that'll work with and extract the data? Now, it gave me this code here. That didn't work. It just gave me the setup. I put it into my N8N. It didn't graft. Where did I put it? Well, I copied this. I went back to N8N, and I stuck it in here in the set node. I stuck it here in this particular set node, and I got garbage back. It didn't work. So I went back here, and I said here, I went down a little bit. I said here, the source text is represented by this expression. You can see this expression here. That's the source text. So what do I mean by that? If I go back here, I said that the source text, and I'm using language here, I'm not a developer. I said, I just copied that. I go, this is the expression. These are the words, this is the code that's representing the information, the incoming information. And now I want to be able to convert it back into JSON. So I said, that's what it's going. Please give me code to extract each element as JSON. And if your source is separated by columns and you're working with N8N, you can use the following code. So it literally gave me that code. This is the exact code. So I went and copied this. All right, I just hit copy. And then I went back into here and I pulled out a code node. Let me show you what that is. I pulled out a code node. There it is. Okay. And I went into here, just deleted all that was there and popped that back in. That's the code I've just pulled now from OpenAI as you saw it. I'm going to move that out of the way. But you'll see this code, looking funky here, is the identical code to here. No difference. That's what I did. And makes me look clever, but really that's as simple as it was. Now I'm going to run this node. I'm going to test this step. And there it is. There's my result. It's now as in JSON I can map to properly. I hope that's making sense. And I hope you've kind of seen how I go about as a non-techie figuring out how to do this stuff using these lovely AI tools that we have at our fingertips at the moment. Okay, now I need to set query parameters because I'm going to be sending the information over to Apify, which is our tool that we're going to use to scrape Google Maps. Talk about that in a moment. But we need to set our parameters. So you'll notice this is another set node. I've pulled it on and there's my search term. I want the search term barber chop. So I literally just drag that on like that. And I wanted the city and the country. And I just drag both of those into this one and I separate it by a comma with a space. So if I go test setup, all right, I now have JSON with where I can insert this now into Apify. But having it in this layout, this JSON layout made it easy for me to drag in and map this setup. There's probably a better way to do this. Let me know if there is. I'd be keen to find out. But as a non-techie, that's what's working for me. All right, now the next step was to use Apify. Now Apify is let's just quickly have a look here. Now I've got a whole video on Apify, so please check that out. Let's jump back. If you jump back into our channel and you go through to scraping Google Maps, how to scrape Google Maps with Apify, we break down Apify and how to use it. So check out that video. Today's video is building on top of knowledge we already have, but the information's there for you to go and catch up if you need it. But this is Apify, and it's basically a marketplace for scraping tools that'll go and scrape TikTok and Google Maps and Instagram, and it wraps an API around it so we can use it with tools like N8N, like Make.com, like Zapier, and such like. So I've got an account. Go and create an account. There's actually a link in the description. Use the link and you'll get $5 of free credit to use every single month, and $5 will get you a long way. So this is a paid service, but you actually don't need to be spending any money to get the job done. So this is what Apify is all about, and you choose your actor. Lots of different actors. Think of actors as little apps that go and do a job. There is a marketplace of actors, and you can scroll through and find the ones that you want. And we are using this Google Maps email extractor. That is the particular scraper, the actor, the app, if you will, within Apify that we're using to get the job done. And these are the actors that are involved. This Google Maps email extractor is the tool I'm enjoying using at the moment. As I say, go watch that previous video to get your head around how that all works. Now, one thing I want to mention here is N8N does not have an Apify node. It looks like it does, because if I click into it, this is what looks like an Apify node. But this is actually a community node. And if you're running the cloud-based version, in other words, you're paying N8N money in order to host your N8N for you, you won't have access to community nodes. But if you're running a self-hosted N8N as we are, you'll be able to go and get a community node, and someone has built an Apify community node. So to do that, you go to settings, you come through to community nodes, and you're going to just look for you can use this install button, and you'll be able to go and browse the NPM public registry, and you'll be able to search for N8N -nodes -Apify, install it. It'll come back and install it, and then refresh your N8N, and you'll have access to the N8N node. You can actually do this via an HTTP node as well as a little more. It's a little more complicated, but if you don't have access to the Apify node, you can still access Apify used via their API keys and using HTTP nodes. But Apify will give you an API key. Just pop it in there. Now you've got your API key, and now you're going to find your actor from a list, and we are using Google Maps with contact details. There's lots of different actors here that I'm using. This is the one that I'm after. I'm setting some credentials. I want to put the timeout after 5 minutes and such like. And then I'm coming down here, and I need to get the query. This is now sending the information over to Apify so it knows what to do. And this is setting up what information to send over. Let's go and execute this. Actually, I need to execute all these nodes because we moved away from it. So I'm just going to hit the play button here. Let's pull that all the way through. And now our parameters are set. If we look at our schema, there it is. Our search term is barber chop, and we're searching in Cape Town, South Africa. So if I come over to here, okay, and I'll open up this. This is what we're after here. Let me show you where I'm getting it from. Again, we do this in detail inside that previous video. But I'm going to Google Maps Extractor here. And if I look at input, this is just the console where I can manually type information into it. And, you know, I'd be typing in here, barber. Typing is terrible. Now, this is the format that the actor wants. So that's where it is. And actually, let's move this out. I want to put the location here. And we've got a whole bunch of criteria we can configure here. But once you've done the basic configuration, if you come over to JSON, you're going to see that's the JSON that we want to create. So you copy that JSON, come back over to your N8N, and I'm just going to put a sample in here. And there it is, language query, location query. You can see it all here. And I'm now just dragging in the variables from my set query parameter node to match this. So location is English. Location query is Cape Town, South Africa. So I'm just dragging this in and I'm just dropping it in between those speech marks, and that'll give me that result. And the next one I want is the name of the place I'm going to be searching. This is this search string array. See here, search string array, barber chop. So that's the name, that's the search term. So I just drag and drop that in there, and we'll get the result. Now I've made space here for doing additional searches. You could have additional terms here. You can delete that out. In fact, this is a legacy from something I built before, but it doesn't matter. I've left it there. So that's how you set up your results. And we'll close this. And most of the configuration here will be out the box. You can leave it as it stands. So let's go and hit test step. So now via the API here, this API credential, it has gone and is now triggering Apify. In fact, if we go back over to Apify and we go into runs, we'll actually see it running. It's busy starting the crawler. It is busy doing it. Now, you could probably build your own crawler within N8N, but what I like about Apify is it's scrolling IP addresses and such like, so that you don't have IP limitations or risk getting your IP address banned. There it is, job done. It has scraped us, and it's cost us a fraction of a US cent to get the job done. We come back here, we've got a set of results. Look at this schema. We've got barber chop, city center. We've got all kinds of information coming back here, opening hours, what other, and so on and so forth. So we have a host of information. So that's really useful. But now we don't need all that information. We just want some of it. So I'm using a set node here again. I'm using set nodes quite a lot. And just a reminder, set node, type it in. That's what you want. And then you just kind of, I'll show you what I mean here. If you want to create a setup here, so I'm going to manually add a field, and let's call this field is zip code. Anything you want, and then I'll go find the zip code on here. There it is, postal code. In fact, sometimes it's easier if you go into the schema mode and postal code, and just drag that in, and it's now mapped that result to that label. So simple as that. I'm just going to delete that out. But now we've mapped all the details in. So I want the business name. Where's the business name here? Category name. Well, no, the title here. So there it is, title. Business category. I've gone through all of this, pulled out the information I want. So you can modify this to suit the information you are after. So I'm getting business categories back from Google Maps scraping. So let's just quickly have a look where the categories are. I'm missing it here. It's somewhere in here. It is. What is this? What does this say? JSON, Google Maps, JSON categories, image categories. So there it is, business category, category name, barbershop. So this falls into that category. So I've captured the address, the city, state, postal code, phone number, pulled in the phone number, the website. That's quite important. You've got to pull in the website. Let's see if there's the website. I just drag that in there. Got myself a website, the Google Map URL even. I'm pulling in if they've got social media. Green is if it's found the social media, and red if they don't have social media listed on their Google Map scraping. YouTube, email, if you've got an email address, I've made allowance for multiple email addresses. In this case, it's only found one, and so on and so on and so on. So yeah, you can put all kinds of details into this. We're doing some pretty fancy stuff in some of these, and this will keep, you can go and grab this out of our community if you wanted. This is actually from a different flow where we break down an array and get a better result. But I'm going to keep this simple now. I'm just pulling in these data points. So let's test the step. And now this is a summary of the information that we're getting. So awesome. So we're slowly, remember we sent into WhatsApp, and now we've gone and scraped the information. And now we want more information than what we're getting just from Google Maps. Google Maps gives us kind of, interesting information, but we probably want more information. We're a sales rep coming into a business. It's a good idea to have a look at the website. So we haven't got time to look on the website. We're a sales rep on the road, so we're going to get an AI to do that. So we want to check now. We want to use an if node. We want to use an if node to check for a condition. And we're going to check that if they have a website, because often in Google Maps, when you create your listing, you don't have to supply a website, and a lot of companies don't. So we're just going to check if a website exists or does not. So in this case, if it doesn't exist, so we'll run this little node, and it does exist, so it's gone down the false arm. So we know it's got a website, and what I noticed is a lot of people are listing their Facebook page as their website. Now, this is not set up to scrape Facebook pages, so we're going to have another if node here where we're going to check if the website that they listed contains Facebook. If it contains facebook.com, we're not going to scrape it, so we don't want to do anything with that. But if it doesn't, we can carry on. But here we've got a little feedback node. So here, if you remember, we triggered WhatsApp, and then we sent this little message back saying, hey, got it, give me 2 minutes to do my research. This is another response node. We can do the same thing. And this response node is to expand that. The business does not have a website listed, but here's what info I could extract from their Google Maps listing. So it's going to return what information it can get, but it'll be shortened information, and now we know why, because we're saying it doesn't have a website. Can you see that? Checking for website, check if it's a Facebook page or not. If either of those are true, in other words, it doesn't have a website, or if they do, it's a Facebook page, we're just going to send that result back. But if we have a proper website, then we are going to scrape that website. So I'm just running this result. It's come down the false branch because I'm asking that I'm asking the criteria in a way that the false branch makes sense. And now I'm pushing back another Apify node. So this time, though, we're using a different scraper. We were scraping Google Maps before, but this time we're using an actor called Fast Website Content Crawler. Let me show you that inside of Apify. I'm going to go back to all my actors, and this is the one we're using here, Fast Website Content Crawler. And again, I can, there's the website I might want to be scraping as an example, and I've got a couple of options here. Once I've configured that, I can go get the JSON. There's the JSON layout. This is what this actor wants. It wants information in this format in order to be able to trigger. So we've got to use our API in a manner that sends information in this way with this structure. So if we go back to our N8N, we'll see exactly that's what's going on. So I'm using my credentials. I'm using that particular actor. I'm not letting it time out. You could put something there. I'm using the maximum amount of memory, 8 gigs. If you're not sure, just copy these settings. And here is the format. It's exactly the same as we just saw, and I am pulling in the website of the barbershop. So there it is. They're just literally grabbing hold of that, and I'm dropping it in between those two speech marks, and it'll give us the result. That's what's now going to be sent over to the actor, which is exactly what the actor wants in order to run. So let's test that. And if we go over to here and we go look at runs, we can see there it is running. This different scraper is now scraping the website of the barber shop. and going to give us a result. And this one's pretty cheap, $1.50 for every 1,000 results. So as you can see here, it's costing me an absolute fraction of a US cent every single time this runs. So it's busy running at the moment. Typically seems to take a couple of seconds to run. There it is. We've got a result coming back in. Let's go back over to N8N, and there's the result. Okay, it's given us let's go look at the JSON. Actually, even better, let's look at the table. And there is, it scraped the website. So we have the full website. So now we have information from the initial Apify scrape, which was Google Maps information. But now we have information from scraping the website as well. Okay, so now we're going to set the information about this website so we can get the AI to summarize it for us. So let's open up another set node. That's what that is there. And very simple. I want the actual website address. So I've made a little section called website, just typed it in, and I've dragged in the domain, and then the text as well from the actual text of the website. So that's just mapping that. Let's test step. And all it's done is set the information. And now we're going to use a tools agent to do that. So if you want to get the right one here, you can just type in tools agent and pull on a tools agent. That's what it is here. I'm just going to delete that because I've done it already. There's our tools agent. Okay. We have a video on how to set up this as well. Over here, if you go into our WhatsApp AI chatbot, we dive into using a tools agent and configuring it. So go check that out if you haven't already, if you're not sure about using AI agents inside of N8N. But we're using a tool agent. This is the prompt we're going to do below. Now, these prompts could be a lot better. Definitely a point of improvement. But here's the prompt. This is what we're asking the AI to do. Its primary objective, create a business summary to use by a sales rep. We want this kind of output, summary of the business, their core services, business goals, USP, and this is the read and interpret the website content. And then what have I done here? I've grabbed this and I've dragged it on and dropped that right in there so that now the AI knows it can read the website. You can see it on this side, step by step, read and interpret the website content. And because we've dropped this in here, it's now returning the entire website summary. Okay. Or not the summary, the actual raw text off the website. So identify the businesses, etc., etc. Now, here's where we get a little bit more technical. We want to have structured content. We don't want just a random reply. We want to know, we want that labeled. I want to give me a business summary. Give me the core business function. Give me products. Give me this. So I've gone and written in the structured final output in JSON. Give me this JSON result. Okay, and I've also asked it to include the exact domain address in the output so that I can link the summary back to the website that it's summarizing. Okay, so pretty straightforward. Open curly brackets, the category name you want, and this is the layout here. Now, I've also gone a little bit further, and if I jump out of this, I've added in a tool here called a structured output parser. If you click on this, it'll open this up. And I've added a structured output parser. This is basically a little tool that's going to help this AI give me the data back in the format I want. And if I open this, you'll see I've typed in here the exact same JSON format. Now, strictly speaking, I shouldn't need here in this description here, I shouldn't need to put this JSON in like I've done. But sometimes, just to really make sure that AI doesn't misbehave, because sometimes they do, I've doubled up and I'm getting good results. But you can probably skip this step and just include this structured output parser and pop in this exact JSON format. You'll get the result that you're after. Then under chat model, you need to add a chat model to this. So I have added the chat model I want to use. I am using my credential for OpenAI, but you could use any model you want. You don't have to use OpenAI. You could use Anthropic or DeepSync or any one of the tools out there, but I'm using OpenAI here. So this agent is now going to use OpenAI as a tool, and it's going to use a structured output as a tool. It's going to summarize the website. Let's do it. It's busy summarizing the website, and it's going to return its summary in the format of the structured output. Let's see what we've got here. And there it is, business summary. If I put it in JSON, there's the format. It's come exactly how we want it. Okay, and we want it that way because we're going to use that to send the data back to WhatsApp in a manner that is simple to read. So again, we're using a set node just to capture this data in the right way. So I've got business summary, I've dragged that in here. We've got business function, I've dragged it in here, and so on to get all the results that I am after. So I'm just building the response, the nature, the type, the style, the structure of the response that I want to push back into WhatsApp. So I've done that. And now here we are using a business cloud. If you recall, WhatsApp Business Cloud, we are sending a message. So I've used that node. And I've set up those credentials. Go and check out the earlier video to know how to do that. The message type is a text. Let's actually just run this node here so we can pull some details through. All right, we've got some output, which means we've got some input into this node. And here under text body, you can see I'm building out my response. Summary of, and I've dragged in business summary, and I've dragged in business title as well, the title of the business here. So my result is summary of the barber shop. The barber shop is a premium barber shop that specializes in etc., etc. Who's my target audience? Who's my products and services? What's the USP? What are the contact details? Structure this, build this how you want to suit the result that you want to get from this. The goal here, I'm not trying to give you a Google Map scraper for you to use. What I'd like to see here is you manipulating and modifying and customizing these WhatsApp bots to do any job you want and return the results that you're after. So feel free to restructure this as much as you want. Of course, copy it just like it is if this is valuable to you. But here's the results. This is the results. That's what's going to be sent back to WhatsApp. So if I shut this down and test this step, it is now sent a message back to my WhatsApp, and I believe it should have worked. And there we have it. This has just come through right now. Summary of the barber shop. The barber shop is this. There's my message. So there you have it, guys and girls. This is now a workflow that is going to act as a on-the-fly business research tool for you to use. But you can swap anything. You can have an input and do anything you want in here. We're scraping Google Maps. You might want to do some other task, and we're sending the results of that action of these nodes back into WhatsApp. And this is how you can build a WhatsApp triggered Google Maps scraper, how you can empower WhatsApp to be super, super useful. You could swap these out as well and change them to trigger nodes. So Telegram nodes, trigger via Telegram, output to Telegram, trigger via an email, output via email, Slack. You could use Slack. You could use any Google Chat, you name it. You could use this. So you're starting to get more flexible with how you can use these tools to develop and build anything that you want. I hope you've enjoyed it. That's Let's Automate It with Robin for non-techies. Jump into the community if you've got questions on how this can work for you. If you're looking to get the JSON and build it yourself, or you don't want to build it yourself, you just want to cut and paste it, no problem. All waiting for you in the community. Come and join us. We'll catch you there. Have a great afternoon, great morning, great evening, wherever you are in the world.